Hey guys, today I'm here to do one of my favorite videos that I do every year, and a video that I have been planning since the beginning of the year, and that is to share my top OTPs of the year with you. Like I said, I start planning this video, I don't really know. That's the fun part, is I never know like what couples are gonna pop up first and which ones I'm gonna get obsessed with and all that. And one of the things I find really fun about this every year is that a lot of the couples that I'm gonna be talking about, I didn't even know existed come this time last year, or I knew of the characters but they weren't in a relationship or like a potential couple when I last knew them. And it's just really fun to discover the new ways that characters that you already know can kind of change and become into new relationships, or to discover new relationships that you're obsessed with. I will do a small caveat that last year my top two ships, my number one and my number two, both ended up not being endgame. So that's not a great like predecessor to start everything with. But again, I am not the Oracle of Delphi. I'm not predicting anything with this. I'm just telling you what I like and who I think are really cute. And I do think a lot of these are gonna end up being endgame just because of like the way the shows are scripted. I don't think they would play with my heart like that. I could be wrong. It's just like that kind of took some of the confidence out of it. I was like, oh, should I make this number one? Because is that just like instilling that they will now not be endgame? But again, I am not a seer, so I decided to go with it because, you know, these are honestly my favorite couples, and yeah, I'm just excited to share them with all of you. So coming in at number 10, and this year, weirdly enough, I did have 10 couples. Normally it's not a top 10, but for some reason it worked out that it was a nice 10 even this time. But coming in at number 10 is Rue and Hobb from A Court of Fay and Flowers, which is the Dimension 20 season that ran over the summer. This was going into the season like you knew it was going to be the season of horniness and romance, so everyone I was kind of side-eyeing, being like, who's going to be the first one to step up? And I really had no expectations for who was going to end up with who, but Rue and Hobb probably would have been the least likely for me, just because like what we knew about Hobb, he just seemed like the least kind of interested in romance character in general. Like Rue definitely, I mean, everyone wanted a piece of Rue and I can't blame them for that, but I feel like Hobb just didn't give off like any sort of interest in romance vibes, and they were so opposite on paper, but then the more you got to know them, and I mean from their first interaction, it was just so completely charged. And Brennan and Oscar did such a good job portraying that, like the betrayal, the longing, the yearning. It felt so of that like Pride and Prejudice era, and it was just so wonderful to watch and root for every week. And I'm so glad that they got a happy ending, and it would be so cool if we get like a one-shot with their wedding or something like that coming up. Like I'm really hoping for something fun like that, just to see them again, because they were so cute and I want to see more and more of them actually together. So I really am happy that they ended up together, and they are definitely endgame. So I got at least one, folks. I got one. Coming in at number 9 is a ship that I debated putting this on because I don't like putting on ships that like aren't canon, or like definitely don't seem like they're leaning towards canon. But I do feel like this was a one-ish sided ship that has potential for more if it gets more seasons, which I think it will. And that is Wednesday Addams and Xavier Thorpe from the show Wednesday. Now I have said, if you watch my reactions to Wednesday, I am super biased towards Xavier because I love his actor and I have loved him for a long time, but I also am a sucker for a good height difference. And listen, Wednesday, she's a tiny girl. Like I love her. She's barely 5 feet, so she's gonna have a cute height difference with everyone, but there's something about her and Xavier's that just like scratches that itch where they just look so cute together. And I love how non-stereotypical their relationship is, in that like the guy Xavier is the one that really is like pining over Wednesday and wanting to be around her, and Wednesday is not used to people wanting to be around her, so she's very suspicious of that, and it makes her look at him and see him as the monster. And I'm just excited for the development of what could come in season 2 now that that's all kind of figured out and she realizes that like Xavier does just really like her and want to be around her. And I think they're so cute and sweet. They're similar but also like opposites in some ways. I love their like verbal sparring that they have going on, and I just love that, yeah, he's as inquisitive as her and like can really help her with a new mystery, maybe with the stalker come season 2, because he could have helped a lot with the mystery this season. He offered and he tried, and she was just too suspicious of him to accept that help. So I'm excited to see how that can develop. And yeah, this is just like a baby romance to me, right? Like it's like just getting started. It's just blooming, and I'm excited to see where and if it goes. Until then, I will be riding the AO3 train and reading all the fanfics that I can. Coming in at 8, I have Janine and Gregory from Abbott Elementary. I love love this show and I love these characters so freaking much. And it's so fun too because like Quinta I knew from like her BuzzFeed days, so it's so awesome to see her really shining and just becoming so well known. But then also the actor who plays Gregory, I have loved him since I was like a little, like he was in shows and movies that I grew up with. Like I just watched Unaccompanied Minors the other day with him as like a little kid, and it's just so funny to see him as like a grown man now. I really love this relationship. They are very much Grumpy versus Sunshine and like opposites, but like so cute together. And the last episode that they just showed before the holiday break, oh boy was it intense, and it showed that they definitely have the chemistry, both physical and emotional, to carry a really, really great relationship. And I know it's gonna be a slow burn. I feel like it's one of those like OG kind of like Parks and Rec, The Office, like those slow burns that we don't really see a lot these days, where it's like it's gonna take some seasons before they really develop and get together. And like I'm just waiting with bated breath for like their first kiss and everything like that, and I think it just gets cuter and cuter the more it goes on, so I'm super excited to see where it's headed to in the future. Next up at number 7, I have Will and Noah from Fire Island. Fire Island I feel like was at least underrated for me because like I didn't see anyone talking about it, but like I loved it so much. Like you have to understand, it's like a adapted version of Pride and Prejudice that actually gets Pride and Prejudice right. I feel like a lot of people struggle with Darcy's character, and it was just so good in this one. Like it really was who Darcy would be if you plopped him in the modern era. Like when he throws the ice cream, when they're like, oh, you like little tiny ice cream cones, and he just chucks it, like I just love it. Like they get the awkwardness down of Darcy and how like, you know, he just doesn't know how to act around him because it's like he has these preconceived notions, but he's just like an awkward being and like not actually rude, but it comes across as rude. They got like a romantic confession in the rain, which is always top tier for me. Like I was just on the edge of my seat. They were so cute, and it really helps that Connor is the hottest man I've ever seen in my life. Okay, like I was like, whew, when he walked in like with the exercise and like glistening with sweat, I was like, okay, look, this is my new Mr. Darcy. I got you. And I just really liked their whole journey throughout the thing because like I said, I feel like it really did get a good handle on what Darcy and Elizabeth's relationship is that I think a lot of people miss, which is like Darcy's like does cut some asshole things, but a lot of like his asshole stuff is because he's like just socially awkward and then like owns up to his mistakes and changes to be better. It's not that Lizzie changes him, he changes to be better for her, and we get to see that with this and Will and Noah. And like I said, they were just really cute and sweet and funny, and I loved how funny they were and how charming. Their chemistry was so good, and it was just amazing to watch. Amazing. I love a Pride and Prejudice retelling. You know I do. And like I was just so happy with this. Coming in at number 6 is my boys, Black Pete and Lucius from Our Flag Means Death. I love these two so freaking much. Well, I'm biased. Lucius is my favorite character. I will be honest with you. So like anything he does, I'll be like, woo! Even if, you know, it's falling into the ocean and maybe disappearing forever. But this was such a surprise for me. I had an inkling that they were somewhat together, maybe. I think before I started watching this earlier, that like Lucius had a love interest. I didn't know exactly what it was, so it was definitely surprising when I saw it and how rapidly it comes as fun because they're like the first couple to get together and the first like established couple of like, you're like, oh, this is going to be a pairing throughout the season. And then throughout the rest of the episodes, they're just so healthy. And it's like, it's not even big things, right? It's not these like declarations or anything like that. It's just them having like affectionate names for each other, like calling them babe and sweetie, and, you know, respecting each other's choices and cuddling and snuggling when there's like a shot of the whole group like being together. And it just like that like casual intimacy that like just makes you feel so loved that someone else is loved like that. Like that there's a love like that in the world just makes you so hopeful and makes you feel so warm and fuzzy inside. And I just love that it's these two people who from the first time we meet them seem very different, but then are able to just bring out the absolute best in each other and comfort each other. And when Black Pete whittles Lucius a new finger, I'm just... it's so cute and beautiful, and I am so interested to see how Black Pete is going to react in season 2 when he finds out that Lucius is dead and that his hero, Blackbeard, is the one that did it. I'm so excited to see how that could change and develop their relationship. I'm really hoping that Black Pete just goes like feral over it and is like, you're dead to me, but I don't know. I'm just like really, really excited. I just think they're so cute, and the fact that they were the first couple and kind of the most stable couple throughout it is really, really fun, and I loved it. It was like my first foray into like falling in love with the relationships in the show, and it was such a good one to fall in love with and start with. Coming in at number 5 is Kate and Anthony from Bridgerton. Bridgerton season 2 was a hot mess, I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? Like, I read the book, loved the book. The book is so much better, I'm gonna be honest with you. It does away with the love triangle, it does away with all that. I'll talk about it more. I want to do like a wrap up of like all the like book to movie adaptions or book to TV adaptions that I watched this year, so I'll talk about it more in that video. But yeah, it was a hot mess. And like literally the only parts of it that I liked are the Kate and Anthony scenes. The actors had so much chemistry. It was like coming off the screen. They are so cute. And Simone Ashley is just the perfect Kate Sharma. Like, bow down, bow down. And like literally that's all Anthony could do, right? Was he was just like, this woman is too perfect. And like I'm just in awe of her, and seeing their whole journey was so amazing and fun, and like their verbal sparring is so much fun. It's different than Daphne and Simon in that they're definitely more like enemies to lovers, whereas Daphne and Simon I would say were more like friends to lovers. So it's just fun seeing that like, I don't like you and I'm gonna keep you away from my sister, and then Anthony being like, you think you're gonna keep me away from your sister, and like them just trying to outwit and outmaneuver each other at every single step, and Anthony really meeting his match, like not expecting this to be a big challenge, and then for Kate to be like, yeah, don't think that I'm just gonna like roll over and be like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing, you're the Viscount, and everything like that. Like, she's gonna protect her sister, and it was just so amazing. And honestly, like, they're probably the only part of season 3 that I'm looking forward to. Like, I'm gonna check out season 3 just to see how they develop, and if they ruin them and make them fight, I will throw hands, okay? Got that? Coming in at number 4 is a ship that's not new to me, but new in the form that it was presented in this year, and that is Charlie and Nick from Heartstopper. I love these two nerds so much, and I can't wait for them to come visually back into my life because I have read the Heartstopper novels. I just think perfect casting, right? Like, that shows what happens when you get the creator of the series so involved in adapting it, because they cast it perfectly. I love Joe, I love Kit, I love the whole cast in general. It has such great chemistry, but just the trust and the friendship and the bond that you can see Kit and Joe have then carries over so well into their characters. And just seeing these moments that I had read about and read online and read in books and stuff like that come on like a live screen format was just so wonderful. And I mean, so much of this show hinges on that relationship, right? So if the chemistry wasn't there, they would have been in big trouble. And yet instead we have these two actors who flawlessly portray these characters and flawlessly portray this idea of like first love and everything like that, and it's just so adorable to see, and I'm really excited to see where it takes them in Paris next season and all that, and I'm just excited to have them back in my life, and very excited that for a book adaptation we got the literal perfect Charlie and Nick. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better Charlie and Nick. I really could not have. Now to my top 3. At number 3, I have Juliet and Calliope from First Kill, a show that was wrongly and unjustly canceled by Netflix, and I will never be forgiving them for. I love these two so much. I've talked about this before, but like there was so much of this that I was just unexpected of from the get-go, like from the first episode. First of all, I thought they were gonna fall in love and then find out that they were a hunter and a vampire. No, they knew from the start, and that made the relationship so much more of a like Shakespearean level kind of like espionage thing. Like, obviously Calliope knew a bit more before Juliet did that like Juliet was a vampire. Like, Juliet was just like obsessed with her because she's obsessed with her, but then it's funny thinking like, oh, Calliope keeps looking at me, but it's like Calliope was trying to study if she was a vampire. And then the whole scene in the beginning, the first episode where it ends with the kiss and then Juliet like biting her and Calliope staking her, like it set the whole tone for the rest of the season, and it was just a great way to watch like their chemistry and their whole thing of like they had this family thing, like they were Romeo and Juliet, right? They had this family of like their families didn't get along, and technically they shouldn't get along, but like just watching them be so sweet to each other and so protective of each other was just amazing. And I'm so sad that we're gonna be robbed of seeing more of them, because the actresses had such great chemistry together and I really loved them. And again, this is one that you really have to root for these characters to be together as a couple for the premise to work, right? They have to be good, and you feel like they have to be a good pairing, and they really were. They brought out the best in each other. They supported each other. I love that Juliet was like the sunshine one and Calliope was the grumpy one when you think the vampire would be the big scary one, but Juliet was kind of the one. I've seen a Tumblr, I think it was Tumblr Twitter post, but it was so funny where it's just like, Juliet is so funny because it's like every time Calliope has a bad plan, Juliet's like, this isn't gonna work, and then just goes along with it anyway. Like, you know, like she's like, this isn't gonna work, but I'm gonna support you in it, and like that's just what we want in a partner, right? That's what we want, and I'm just so bummed that we won't get to see more of them. Yeah, but it's just, they were really great while they were here. Coming in at number 2, this is a couple, when I tell you this, I'm not even kidding, had me in a chokehold for probably the first 3 months of the year. Literally, I keep track of all the couples I like throughout the year. Like, I just jot them down, and then I kind of take which ones I really like and which ones stuck with me. And this was the first one I wrote down of the year, and they managed to stick with me all the way from January to now. So that tells you how much I loved them. And that is Lexi and Fez from Euphoria. Talk about an unexpected pairing, my guys. Like, I never ever would have guessed that they were the ones that were going to be together after the first season, but it's literally perfect. I don't know where it's going to go in season 3 because I honestly feel like I never know where that show's going to go, but Lexi and Fez were just so cute, and I feel like they honestly deserved so much more screen time. Like, it was like episode 1, episode 2, and then like nothing till like the last 2 episodes, and I was like waiting with bated breath every single episode to see if there would be more of them, and when there wasn't, it was just so sad. Like, I probably read the most fan fiction of Lexi and Fez. Like, out of all the fan fiction I read this year, like, I would say 75% of it was probably Lexi and Fez. I just love them. I love the sides they bring out of each other. I love how on paper they seem so different, but then the more they talk, you realize they're very actually similar, and it was just so cute. The actors did such a good job portraying it. They have a really good friendship in real life, and you could see that come across in how, like, comfortable they were with each other and improvising stuff and stuff like that, and it was just so fun to watch. And like, I'm just devastated by how it ended. Like, I don't know how it's gonna go for season 3, and it's gonna be probably like 4 years before I find that out, so I'll probably, you know, I don't have to worry about that. Like, it's just like, I'll think about it when it comes back. But yeah, I really loved them, and I hope, maybe it's an unrealistic hope, but I hope they can get a happy ending. Alright, we have arrived at my number 1 ship of the year. I think you all know what it's gonna be. I don't think it's much of a surprise, but that is Steed and Ed from Our Flag Means Death. Yes, everything I had read about this couple, I had seen about this couple before going into Our Flag Means Death because I was a couple months late to it. I was right. I was absolutely right. I knew they were going to be a couple. I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, which was a joy to watch and discover and see them literally fall in love with each other. I have read so many good takes on them that I could tell you about. I think my favorite thing is just someone pointed out of like, imagine your whole life going, like, people telling you all the things that are wrong with you, all the weird idiosyncrasies you have, why they don't like you, why you don't fit in, and then meeting someone, and within 15 minutes that person is amazed by all your idiosyncrasies. Everything that people have said was wrong with you, this person loves and finds amazing, and I just think it's so their relationship, right? Is just like, there's so much that's not stereotypical about it, right? Like, that you think Blackbeard would be this scary pirate and everything like that, but Steed is more the grumpy one, and Steed is more the bitchy one, actually, in the relationship. And it's just so wonderful to see, again, 2 actors who are such great friends in real life be able to really trust each other in scenes and open up to each other. And I think that kind of trust, again, that they have with each other allows them to be so vulnerable and perfect in scenes together. Like, there's improv scenes that I think are hysterical and really feel like I'm just watching 2 people who like each other talk to each other and like flirt with each other. And it ended most devastatingly, but like I said, I have faith that they are going to be endgame. Yeah, everything about Steed and Ed is just the moonlight scene when you thought they were going to kiss for the first time. Steed realizing that he's in love with Ed by talking to Mary about it and getting instantly validated for it and comforted and accepted. The whole thing with, you know, the depression of Steed leaving Ed and how that's affected Ed and that Steed doesn't even know about it. Like, there's just so many possibilities for where season 2 can go, and the fact that I don't know exactly what like the next step is makes me so freaking excited. Like, I just can't wait to see if they're gonna fight when they get back together, if there's gonna be, you know, groveling, if there's gonna be, you know, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and I love them ever so much, and I am so excited to see what's going to happen. So yeah, those are my top 10 ships of the year. Kind of funny, I just realized that I ended my #1 ship with people who are actually on a ship. I didn't even plan that, but that's just how it happened. So please, please let me know what your favorite ships of the year were. I always love hearing who you fell in love with, who you discovered, which characters you didn't know were even going to be a ship, like Lexi and Fez for me, that now became someone that you just can't stop thinking about. So yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know your faves down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!